Coming to you from Memorial Stadium here. Monday afternoon quarterback of Indiana football coming off of their opening game. Unfortunately, a loss in Iowa City, as you know, 36-6. An unexpected loss. Well, a very disappointing loss, I should say. Unexpected is not the right word. You were playing a top 20 team on the road in Big Ten play, a team that is probably going to go on and win the Big Ten West. Iowa, I think that they are the class of that division now. Wisconsin has already taken a loss to Penn State. Nebraska, we don't even have to talk about them. Illinois just lost to Texas San Antonio. Purdue is probably going to be a decent team. Wisconsin, like I said, they've already taken a loss. Minnesota, although they took a loss to Penn State. Was it Minnesota that lost to Penn State? No, Wisconsin. Minnesota, they ended up losing to whom? I'm getting so confused. There were so many games while we were watching.
Minnesota lost to Ohio State.
Right. Minnesota lost to Ohio State, but they looked good in that game for a half until Ohio State imposed their will, scoring 5 touchdowns in the second half. I still think Minnesota is going to be a little problematic, but their defense is probably one that's going to handle that. Their secondary is very good. Again, I think Iowa's going to go on and win the Big Ten West. That division is really weak. On top of that, their crossover games, they just had one with Indiana. They have to travel to Maryland. So they've got the deal of the century this year. But congratulations to them. They played a good game. The defense did a good job. Offense just did what they needed to do. All they did was execute. They did exactly what Indiana didn't do, unfortunately, and that's execute. I know Tom Allen has the words of the week all the time, and probably this week, at least in the locker room, that is going to be the word, execute, because Indiana didn't do it on either side of the ball, but especially on offense. It was very disappointing. Not only that, when you arrive to the stadium and one of your guys is wearing a jersey that says Indina, I should have had you get that picture, John, and pop that up, but I don't know how those jerseys don't come from Adidas already with Indiana on them. And the names are just added to it. But anyway, that's how they started out. So number 33's jersey was misspelled with Indina on it. But first thing Coach Allen did was make light of the situation, tipping and looking at his cap, checking it to make sure it said Indiana was spelled correctly on it. So he got a nice laugh to start the day. But let's hear what he had to say. He was rather disappointed, as most people are.
Appreciate you guys being here. Watch the film, and as disappointed as I was after the game, so that doesn't change. But we had a big day yesterday with our guys. Had some open, honest conversations and just heart-to-hearts about where we are and what we're going to do to get where we want to be. So I thought the guys responded well in regards to our meetings yesterday, lifting, and moving on to our next opponent. So the bottom line for me is how you respond to this kind of situation. So that's going to be the focus, and love our guys, believe in them, and excited to see them learn from things that happened on Saturday and press on move forward. So excited about Saturday's opportunity, first home game for us, our program. Just really excited to get our fans back in our stadium, and it's going to be a 7:30 kickoff, so I want our fans to be able to enjoy the tailgating piece and get here early and be able to enjoy the atmosphere, and I know our guys can't wait to be able to perform in front of them, so that really is a big deal. Obviously, everything we've all been through this past year, not being able to be a part of it, and our fans back in the stadium is going to be huge for our guys, so really looking forward to that.
Coach Tom Allen talking, just basically trying to move forward as the Idaho game this week, non-conference game, their home opener, and the first home game with fans in a couple of years. So we'll see how that turns out. Did the loss? How much did they lost to Iowa? Is that going to affect fans coming to that game? The Cincinnati game already sold out, so that should be fine. The important thing is Indiana. They've got to show up. They've got to play. They've got to show that was not them. And a lot of the players were surprised about that. Ryder Anderson, one of the transfers, just was adamant about this is a good team. This is a good team. They just did not execute. Part of the reason was Iowa. Iowa was ready to play. They executed to a T. They didn't make mistakes. They were ready. I mean, they were just good. They did everything right. Spencer Petras he didn't Peyton Manning you to death. He just threw for 157 yards. He just did enough to keep things off balance. But Michael Penix, on the other hand, obviously looked a little out of sorts. Was not a good day for him. Big questions of him coming back from that injury. He didn't show any ill effects from the injury itself, but it's the mental aspect that right now he's going to have to get over because I tweeted this out during the game on Saturday. Coach Allen was asked about it today. I think Michael Penix was asked about it. I asked Coach Allen about it, I believe. But there was a point where he threw his third interception where he was moving to his left, had a wide open field, and at the last second decides to try to force a pass. And he just looked like he was just too unsure of what to do. And he's got to get past that. And Coach Allen talked about that they've got to work through that. But Michael Penix, we talked to him and asked him about his comfort level. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, initially, I thought about running, but I didn't realize how fast that guy was chasing me. But, that was a bad decision outside the pocket for me. I just got to know when the journey is over and throw the ball away. But, I learned from it. I'm just going to continue to keep pushing forward. I know the team, they have my back. They continue to stay positive. We just stay together. That was the main thing coming out Saturday. It showed our character. It showed that we stayed together. We didn't go out pointing fingers at each other and stuff. After the game. So we know we have a lot. We have a lot of stuff to work on. We're going to make sure that we attack those things this week, and we're going to get ready for Idaho and make sure that we go out there, play our football.
Michael Penix talking about what they need to do this week against Idaho as the home opener is 7:30 here at Memorial Stadium. Hopefully to see. I hope it's a packed stadium. It's just a lot more fun. The environment in Iowa was amazing. It was awesome. Their fans are incredible. It's just one of those great football environments where you love to go. They're just out there. They were loving being there. You could tell. A very cool stadium. They have a lot of corn out front of the stadium, by the way, actual real corn. But one of the things that amazed me is the main street that ran out in front of the stadium is just I guess would normally be like a little 4-lane or just a 2-lane with a single. There was never any traffic issues, and there were not cops running it. It was just people going up and down, going slow, people crossing the road. It was easy. There was no issues whatsoever right beside the stadium. It was amazing. But they know how to do it down there. It was fun, but a great environment. Hopefully to start seeing more of that environment here. I know you have to have a winning product, and this team is a better team than what they showed. There's no question. I was shocked, and a lot of people were shocked to see how they played. Defensively, I really was I didn't understand what was going on with defensively. They looked a step behind the secondary coverage. The entire defensive play was not bad, but they were just a half a step off. And I'm sure those are things that they'll get straightened out because they're playing against a very well-coached team. Offensively, that's one of the things I asked Nick Sheridan about when we spoke to him. They've got to make adjustments. And there's a lot that goes into devising a game plan for football, a ton. You've got 1 week to get ready for a team. You've got film study and scouting to do and implement what you're planning to do against their scheme. So there's so much that goes into that. And to just dump that in the middle of a game, I know is difficult, but there comes a time. And I think that game Saturday was a time where I would have liked to have seen, well, one of the things I tweeted out is I thought that they probably could have brought in Jack Tuttle a little earlier it was not Michael's day, just get him out and do what they did. They did it at the start of the fourth quarter, but I think they should have went ahead and done it at halftime to see what could possibly happen. But anyway, I asked Nick about altering that game plan after we saw that what was going on just wasn't working. And here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that conversations were had throughout the game on how to try to best move the ball and help him get into a rhythm. We didn't help by giving them points on offense. You throw 2 big sixes, your chances of winning the football game, doesn't matter who you're playing, dramatically decrease. So, that was kind of the flow of the game. We got behind so early. And there were some completions that were there that we didn't hit, some underneath routes to some receivers that you're expecting a little bit more production in that play. And we got to get that out of them as coaches. We got to make sure that they understand the scheme, they can execute the play fast. And regardless if it's a short or underneath throw or an intermediate or deeper pass. So there's definitely conversations throughout the game on how to best try to attack them and get yourself back into the game. But when you throw 2 interceptions for big sixes, you throw a third and gives them a field goal. And obviously, not all of those were Michael's fault. I need to make sure that we understand the schemes and can execute, take care of the football. You get a tip pass early in the game. I mean, sometimes those things happen, but if you turn the ball over the way we did Saturday, it won't matter who we're playing. So, that's my responsibility. But it's a fair question. You get down like we did, you're looking for any answer you can to try to get yourself back into the game. And sometimes in trying to do that, you got to force the ball down the field maybe more than you like.
In there. So they've got to get past this and put it away. They've only got a few days to get that lined up. That's part of what I was talking about. But I think that they will. Having Idaho this week is a break, a lot better than last year. Or you could be Iowa, for example. They have to play Iowa State this week, which is a top 10. They're a top 10 team. Iowa will probably jump from third. They were 18. I don't know if they'll jump into the top 10. I doubt it. Probably 12 or so. But I expect Indiana to fall from the rankings. Honestly, both sides. I think Michigan is going to jump in. Wouldn't be surprised to see Michigan State jump in the coaches poll. But think about, and what got me to thinking about that is I started thinking about how many ranked teams Indiana will end up playing now. So you've got Cincy and Michigan, and we already know that Ohio State is going to be ranked. Let's see, you got Penn State it's going to be ranked. They've already played Iowa 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. Minnesota is probably a team that is potentially going to be ranked in like a and who knows if I could be missing. Indiana's schedule is going to be a little tougher than even it looked early on. Michigan State looked really good in their opening in this game this weekend. Nice win for them. So Illinois, how about Illinois taking it on the chin? They come out and they get the big debut win for Brett Bielema over Nebraska and come out and lay an egg. You want to talk about laying an egg. Indiana looked bad, but they lost to the University of Texas, San Antonio, baby. At home, no less. So it was a lot worse than other places. It's going to get better for Indiana. They have too much talent. This talent has not gotten worse. It's gotten better. They've got some issues on the offensive side, and it starts with Michael Penix. There's no question there. They've got to get him comfortable and get him comfortable fast. And if not, they're going to have to look at alternatives. And right now, that only alternative.
All right, just to jump in, I do believe Jim's phone just died, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I think he was wrapping it up anyway, but we'll see you tomorrow on Indiana Sports Beat bright and early, 9 a.m. here on YouTube as usual, and in the afternoons on WBRO and WREF as well. Until then, we will see you on the radio.